Hello, Heli Fanatics. I'm going to demonstrate how you would set up the Hobbywing ESC for bailout function by using a 3-position switch. The second thing is how to set up the warnings so that you can use a volume control. That way, if you're at the field and it's too noisy, you can increase the volume, or if you're at home, you can lower the volume so that you don't wake your neighbors up. And the third thing that we would be discussing would be the initialization sequence such that the radio would only activate in the throttle hold position and initialize. So let's begin. All right, first we're going to adjust the radio for its volume control. We're going to go over to the system menu where the system set up. Hit yes. Let's go all the way down to systems, settings, the next page. All the way to volume control select, to analog, change it to R knob.
Volume 15. Volume 100.
So by turning the volume control,
Volume 100. Volume 65.
here you go.
Volume 80.
Let's get back out of here. Let's go ahead and configure the bailout function when using the ESC Hobbywing. First thing we want to do, let's lower down the volume, it gets annoying. First thing we want to do is we want to go to the flight mode setup, and the typical throttle hold is switch H back here. We'll remove it to switch G, 3-position switch. And the way we do that is we go to the flight mode setup, go under hold switch, change it to switch G. Now, these little black indication, we want to also highlight 1 and 2. As you can see by the tick mark in the bottom, this 1 and 2 should be black. Let's get back out of this menu and let's go over to our function list. Let's go over to Throttle Cut. Let's activate Throttle Cut and put it on switch G. And so Throttle Cut would be here on number 2, so we'll unhighlight number 1. And so when this switches all the way to the far back, which is switch 2 by the little tick marks, then that would be Throttle Cut. Let's go back. Let's go to the Throttle Curve and do throttle hold. Let's adjust this value for 32%. Now the manual for Hobbywing states that it should be anywhere between 25% and 40%. And what happens is when you are at a high position above 40% throttle and you're doing your auto and you go to bail out, the ESC will recognize that you are within 25% and 40%. And when you go back to normal mode for flying, the ESC recognizes that you went past 40% and instantly will give you a fast spool up. All right, now that we have that all set, let's get all back out of here. Let's go to the monitor page and hit the monitor page and scroll the dial. And so right now you can see that nothing's moving because we have it on throttle cut position. Let's go back to normal mode, all the way back, switch G all the way back. And you can see we got minus 99 to 98% on the throttle position. Now, if I was to go to bell out here, as you can see, it registers 36%. Now, the radio is not calibrated. Even though we selected 32%, we still have to calibrate our sticks. But for now, this gives you an idea of what we're trying to do. So here, throttle cut, minus 100, bell out, 36%, and normal 100%. As you can tell, this is the switch we'll be using. Now let's go forward and let's do the warnings. So what I like to do is when this radio boots up, I want it to tell me where this throttle stick is at, where this flight mode position switch is at, and where this is at. And the only way that this radio will boot up and initialize is if the throttle stick is down, that's a normal mode, and this is in the throttle cut position. All right. Now, the default position is typically back, and the radio will warn you you are in throttle hold. But for a helicopter, it is important that we keep the system from energizing the motor or initializing the ESC. So let's go over to the system setup. We're in system setup. Let's go to warnings. All right, let's go over to hold. And so let's warn us when we're on these two positions, 0, which is here, and 1, which is the middle one. And it will tell us that we cannot initialize until this switch is in the 2 position. All right, now that's all set. Let's go back. And let's put this at a high throttle stick. Let's put that at any flight mode. Let's put that at normal mode, G at normal mode. And let's get out. Here we have a warning, high throttle. So we'll bring the throttle down, the warning is gone. Now we'll bring this to flight mode 1, and we still get a warning, flight mode 1. Back to normal, and the warning goes away. We are still alarming.
Volume 50.
And let's put this to position number 1 or bell out. And throttle cut. As you can see, the radio initializes and boot up. And that's a good safety feature so that when you're at the field, this position switch that's used for throttle hold, bell out, and cut is in the throttle cut position such that the ESC would not arm. Hope you understand this basic setup. Thanks for watching. We'll see you out in the field.